So welcome back to Lucore Automotive. This is another installment of the Momma's Mopar project. This is 73 Charger Chicks 1973 Dodge Charger. If you are not familiar with this car, we've done a couple of other videos in the past about it, and it is going through the process of becoming a little bit meaner than it currently sits. Currently, we have a Big Block 400, so kind of a smog era Big Block that is sitting under the hood of this thing. It was originally a 318 car. Somebody in the past swapped in a 400 that we have absolutely no idea what's in it, and it's not the fastest thing in the world, but the nice thing is, because it doesn't make a ton of power, it's a great platform to practice with. So when she goes to the track, she's letting this thing loose on the track. It's not a 500 horsepower monster, it's more of a 200 horsepower monster. Much easier to control, and you can learn how the whole process works. So this motor is just kind of limping its way along. We want to keep it in one piece as long as possible while the other motor is getting done. There is a 451 cubic inch stroker that is being produced at Performance Research currently, and should be ready to go here in the next couple of weeks. And once that's done, we're going to swap that over into this guy. So we want to get this guy out of the track and get 73 Charger Chick a couple more quarter miles under her belt before this thing goes from mild to wild. So in this episode, we are going to take care of some cooling issues and some fueling issues. The carburetor that's on this thing has always been a little bit of a problem. If you've seen any of the videos from the past 2 times she's been at the track, there's been a heat soaking issue and fuel vaporization problem. These Big Block motors with iron heads create and hold a lot of heat, and this thing has had some serious problems cooling itself down. So we're going to be replacing the fan shroud on this guy, which is a pretty simple process, replacing the carburetor and rerouting fuel a little bit, and hopefully taking care of a little bit of the fuel issue. We're also swapping out the cast iron intake on this to an aluminum intake from Wyand, and hopefully that will also A, lighten the front of the car up a little bit, and B, give us a little bit better heat dissipation having that aluminum manifold. So we're going to get to work, and you can watch me get some work done. Cool. Original equipment reproduction. So there's our factory fan shroud. See the main burn?
I do. What about the edge? This edge? There you go, like that. Oh, don't shove it.
Yeah, I might be able to get creative and flatten it. Get better on that.
Away from the radiator here.
So, step 1, failed miserably. The new Champion radiator is thicker than the OEA radiator was. So my fan shroud won't clear the fan. So now I gotta remove the fan, put the fan shroud on, and put the fan back on. So, step 1.5.
Oh, she's belt not supposed to not be tight enough. Good.
There's nothing tight enough on this side. Hands off.
Yeah, when it's going to go off, it's going to go off.
Punch it into my brand new radiator.
Yeah.
Thanks.
how it works.
Alright.
Now you can go get your radiator. Yeah, hook the shroud to it before you put it in.
Hands off. Now, step 1.75.
Okay, there you go.
Shroud go in. Shroud go there. Shroud no won't fit.
Are you on the tabs?
No.
Here's the tab.
That's the tab.
Smack him in the head.
Needs a zip tie.
Guys, want to use zip ties to hold the shroud on.
So, now that that's done, we got the shroud. The shroud and the fan are the same size, which wouldn't really work very well. Typically speaking, putting two things in the same place,
Cut an inch off.
yeah, it doesn't usually work. So that's the first problem. Second problem is this shroud is not as wide as that radiator is. So these tabs, which are over here, are supposed to line up with the holes on the radiator. You run a bolt through it and bolts it to the radiator. Well, in this case, the tab finishes right here on both sides. So we can zip tie it, or you can see if they have maybe the right part. So, small change of plans. While we're in here, we're gonna do a water pump too. Because heating issues we're having, generally we have kind of a consensus here that it's not just a shroud issue. It's probably also a water pump. Again, we have no idea the health of this motor. We have no idea what's in this motor. Somebody at some point in time painted it blue. That's all we know. But because it's overheating while driving down the road, not just sitting at idle, there's a good chance that the internals of that water pump are falling apart. So we're going to yank that water pump. It's a super simple process in this car. Pick up another water pump at Jegs, come back down here, bing, bang, boom. Bob's your uncle, run into the next problem. So, off the Jegs, hi-ho, hi-ho. The shroud, which is designed for OEM radiators, and the OEM replacement radiator that we put in this thing are not working out together. One is an inch too small. The shroud is an inch too small for where the mounting points are on the radiator. So we can either fabricate up some replacement or some adapters basically to be able to get this thing to fit, or we order another shroud. The other problem is the opening to this fan shroud is exactly the same size as the fan, so that won't work. So fan shroud, not gonna work. So we'll put that back over there, and that goes back to manufacturer. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna run this guy with no fan shroud and just a real big fan, and hope that'll work. I just got back from Jegs, got a brand new Tough Stuff water pump, and we're going to replace this most likely old crusty terrible water pump with a brand new one, and hopefully that'll help us out a little bit on our cooling issues, and put a new thermostat in there and we will see what's what. So time to get to work. It's hot, it's after hours. Hey, that's hot rodding. We're going to get to the bottom bolt of the water pump now that all the coolant is drained out. I do need to knock the alternator down just a little bit. Take off the alternator belt because the alternator belt is blocking the lower bolt. So alternator lowered just a little bit, alternator belt off, and yeah, moving forward. Alright, looks like we're not dropping any coolant anymore. This water pump has been on here since God only knows when, so we're going to go ahead and get a persuade this thing off. What we want to make sure we don't do is hit this brand new radiator we have our transmission cooler already mounted to. Last thing I need to do is destroy brand new parts. see if this works. They need a smaller persuader. Oh, come on. Looks like this thing was RTV'd on here forever ago. RTV'd. Got it! Alright. Here's our old water pump. Ugh, grimy. At least it was metal. Not too terrible. So, as all things go with hot rodding, we need to make sure our parts are correct. So, this is the water pump that came off this guy. It is a Chrysler original stamped part. So, this has been on here since 1973. It says so on the top. Which makes this a hopefully 1973 400 that's in there. It's possible, who knows. So, anyway, that's our water pump that came off. This is our brand new one. So, let's verify all of our parts are correct here. Blade size. Same. Bolt pattern. Same. Looks like the same thing to me. We should be good to go. Bolt pattern on the front. Same. Bolts, same. So there we go. Now we've got to pull these studs out, transfer the studs over from the old water pump to the new water pump. I don't think my new water pump came with studs. So yeah, just transfer those studs over, which we used to mount the fan. This one also came with a new gasket, so we will clean up the mating surface on the back of this guy and make sure that our mating surface is nice and clean. Once that's done, time to mount the new water pump. Also important to note, tough stuff, stickers. Apparently I can also get a baseball cap, which is exciting. Like free stuff. Yay, stickers and baseball caps. Alright, handy dandy gasket scraper. Clean off the mating surface of all the old gasket material and goo that was used. So when we put the new one on, it'll be a nice, perfect seal. So there's no leaky. Alright, let's read the directions. Drain cooling system. Check. Disconnect the low radiator hoses and heater hoses at the water pump. Don't need to do that. Inspect all hoses for dry rods, cracks, and tears. Again, don't need to do that. Remove drive belts from water pump pulley. Check. Loosen and remove the fan clutch with equipped and possible assembly. Check. Remove the water pump, 2-cylinder block bolts, and remove water pump. Also check. Step 6. Compare the new one and the old one. Verify the hub height and dimensions are the same. Water pumps are available in a number of heights. It is the installer's responsibility. And it is the installer's responsibility to make sure the correct water pump is installed. We've done that. So, moving on to installation. Clean the water pump mounting surface before installation. We just did that? Check. Inspect the fan clutch, pulley to verify they are all in working condition. A defective or out of balance fan clutch, or pulley will cause premature pump failure. Also true. Inspect belt tension. There is not one. Water pump is equipped with a steel backplate covering the impeller. Verify that all fasteners are tight. The water pump has a threaded nipple. Verify it is tight. Caution, do not over tighten the nipple. Never over tighten the nipple. Never. It's never going to do that. Install the water pump back on the block using new gaskets and gasket sealer to assure a positive seal. Tighten the mounting bolts gradually and evenly in a staggered sequence to factory torque specifications. Install pulley and fan back on the pump. So, next step, install. Alright, so, water pump, we pull down. And this guy goes right up, yeah. Like so. Boom, boom, boom. Alright, now we're going to thread these bolts in here just to hold this guy in place. And then we're going to make sure we seal these bolts also, because we don't want to create any kind of leaks. So, bolt painted with thread sealer. And that guy in so it's snug. All 4 bolts are on. Now, next step, cinch these things down and oscillating your pattern. So bang, 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 bang. That's the idea. Cross yourself. Switch my 14mm into snug. And start snugging the Ugga Duggas. All 4 bolts are in, all 4 bolts are snugged. Now these things need to be torqued down, again, in an alternating pattern, down to our factory snugness. Once that's done, time to put the alternator belt back on, start putting the fan on the front of the new water pump, and then it's on to the next issue we gotta handle. Now the nice thing with this is they made these studs basically idiot-proof. A coarse thread on one side, fine thread on the other. So, technically speaking, even I couldn't screw this up. Alternator belt goes back on. There we go. Alright. Belt properly lined up. Snug this guy down. Nice tight alternator belt. Not hitting the water pump. Life is good. Alright. Alternator is snugged up. Belt is good. Fan pulley goes on. Down there. Persuade the steering pump up a little bit. Take the tension off of my belt. On the crank pulley. On the power steering pump pulley. There. There. Alright, yes sir. We're reusing hardware that came off this thing originally. So I've got a nut, a lock washer, put that fan on, run that guy down. Once that's all snugged, we pull the power steering pump all the way back up. It snugs down the belt that holds the power steering as well as the fan. We're golden. process does go considerably longer if you keep dropping your nuts. Oh, thank you, God. Added a half-hour headache onto this process just because I can't keep a hold of my nuts. Alright, so fan belts are all on, the fan nuts and studs are all on, alternator belts on, water pump's installed. All we got left is to cinch down the power steering pump, which is the tensioner for the fan belt, and we are ready to test this thing and see if she leaks. Alright, nice and snug as a bug in a rug. So with the fluid, the coolant we lost out of the block by pulling the water pump, I figure we lost about a gallon or so of fluid. So we've got about a gallon or so back in it, and we're gonna fire this guy up, let this thing start turning around, see how this fan is balanced, make sure it's happy. We don't have anything kind of crazy floppy. And as it gets up to temperature, the thermostat should open. We should start circulating the coolant through, which will pull some coolant out of our radiator back into the block. And we'll start filling that guy back up. so far, looks like our water pump is sealed up nicely. No leaky leaky. That's a good thing. Hose is nice and hot. We have developed a valve cover leak over on this side, which is not too terribly surprising. If you'd seen in the video, there's a little bit of a puff of smoke from over on this side. We got oil coming out back here in the corner, actually kind of mostly back here in the corner. So we got a valve cover leak we're going to have to address. Again, not too big of a deal. We've got valve cover gaskets to do it. Unfortunately, now that this thing is up to operating temperature, it's way too hot to do valve cover gaskets. So we'll leave that for another day. So project get Momma's Mopar to good guys. Partial success. We'll give it a B-. We replaced the water pump. I'm pretty sure that thing is not doing nearly what it was supposed to do. This is also a much better water pump than originally came in these things in 1973. So that part's taken care of, and we're going to figure out a fan shroud solution now that we know that the OEM replacement shroud does not fit on these Champion radiators. So we're going to have to figure out an interesting solution for that. May just go ahead and do the thermostatic electronic fan that we're going to do anyway. We replaced the motor, so yeah, that's what we'll probably do. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed another edition of Momma's Mopar. Time to give Momma a call, have her come pick up this charger, and 73 Charger chick will be at Good Guys. Can't miss her. She'll be driving around in this thing. And drop by, say hi. We'll be all over the place this weekend. And hopefully you've enjoyed this. As always, click on the subscribe, drop us a comment, click the like button. Just a small town shop trying to show you guys what we do. A little peek behind the scenes. Have a great weekend.